Hotep and greetings, family. I am Dr. Nterii Nelson, co-founder of the Academy of Kemetic Education and Wellness here in Boston, Mass. In this e-course, it is my goal, our goal, hope, and intention to show you some highlights of our brick and mortar school here in Boston, and to be able to present this same amazing curriculum in the Metaphysical Kemetic Virtual Wisdom School. In the Academy of Kemetic Education and Wellness, we have been giving classes in Metaphysical Kemetic Wisdom Studies since 1999. So enjoy these highlights.
By clicking the link below, you will be able to register for your Building the Lighted Temple Wisdom Service membership and register for classes, one of which is Ka'aba, Building the Lighted Temple with the Metaphysical Keys to the Tree of Life, for this upcoming orientation and registration session.
In the Academy of Kemetic Education and Wellness, we teach the African origins of the ancient Kemetic Egyptian wisdom. And our Neteru, or qualities of divinity, are Ma'at and Tehuti. It is Ma'at and Tehuti that are symbolizing right relationship and right knowledge. And in our Kemetic studies, these go hand in hand, because if we have a right relationship, we will pass on the knowledge that we know, that we have come to acquire. And so in the Academy, there is teaching, imparting the wisdom. And we have class after class of diving deep into these studies as metaphysicians, as chemeticians. Class after class over the years of those who have come from all walks of life, some who are teachers, clinicians, engineers, construction workers, from every walk of life. They have come to learn our greatness in these studies of our African history and wisdom, the work of building the lighted temple, and our lectures, deepening the learning, class after class, getting up and demonstrating the knowledge. Mounds of books that our African scholars have mined in the restoration of our history. Learning the language of Neteru, key in our remembering who we are. Going to the museums here with premier scholar Anthony Browder to deepen our reservoir and retrieval. Working with our children in the Kemetic culture class, our future initiates and scholars in the discipline. understanding the red and white crown of our greatness, of our kingship, studying the stars. Our graduation at the culmination of 9 months in our certification programs. Our elders standing watch and guiding. Our initiates have attended universities, have bachelor's degrees, master's degrees, but they come to the academy because they want to learn what they're not going to learn in those other institutions. Bringing generations together, intergenerational. Claiming our soul work and service and our stewardship of planet Earth. Understanding what it means to be African and the responsibility in the Assyrianization of consciousness to reclaiming our stewardship over the earth and all her kingdoms, mineral, vegetable, animal, human, and the kingdom of souls. That the world awaits our resuming our charge and stewardship for the well-being and upliftment and sacredization and re-spiritualization of our earth. Our discipline, physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Our celebrations, reclaiming the true meaning of resurrection and reascension and the tree of life. Our Djet pillow. Our ceremonies and practices. Our preparations. Our libations. Our rituals. Our A.S.C.A.C, our prayer, our meditation, our invocation. Our recitation of the Pretemru. Our ritual practices in reascension. As part of the Academy, we understand we are part of a world African community, a Pan-African community, and we are connecting with that Academy, that world community, that Pan-African community. Here, I have served as professor, an adjunct with the University of Massachusetts in the Africana Studies Department. So here we are faculty here. And here's another picture of the faculty at UMass with our esteemed Dr. Leonard Jeffries having visited us and given a lecture. We typically have Dr. Rosalind as well, but she was not in attendance. And we understand in our Pan-African community that A.S.C.A.C is a premier concourse of scholarship, bringing together those African scholars who are doing the research and the writing and tracing back to the primal source of our African greatness in the restoration of that greatness. And here in the center, we have Queen Nzinga, who was president of A.S.C.A.C, and this is my husband, Baba Haru Lester, on to her side. And she is now part of the ancestral realm, still guiding us to this day. Thank you, Queen Nzinga, for your guidance and being such a foundational piece of our Academy of Kemetic Education and Wellness. Here we have scholars, Dr. Leonard Jeffries and Dr. Wade Nobles, and who has founded his Black Family Center, and Queen Mother Nephtes, who was co-founder of First World, very premier concourses of scholarship, and Dr. Wade Vera Nobles. Here we have Professor Small, who is doing amazing work in his Pan-African scholarship and his work in Ghana and his conference center, along with Dr. Jeffries. And this is Adisa Makalani, who was a premier scribe and editor of Black scholarship. He has edited my books, and we're just so blessed to have all of these wonderful Africans who have supported our work in the Academy. And here, foremost is my husband again, Baba Haru Lester Nelson. And here we have Dr. Ben, who I'm just so delighted to be in his midst. Here's Dr. Rosalind Jeffries and Dr. Ben Jakanan again. We give praise and appreciation for Dr. Ben for setting us on the right path in the restoration of our history and his tremendous contribution in that restoration and reclamation of all that is beautiful, good, and true African. Here we have Anthony Browder and Dr. Abdelli from the Sudan, and Professor Hunter Adams and Renoko Rashido. We are here presenting at the first Nile Valley conference. And here we have our esteemed Molefe Asante, who is in his premier work at Temple University in the founding of a PhD program in Africana Studies. This is at one of the Sheikh Anta Diop conferences. And here I'm co-presenting with premier scholar Raoun Nefer, who is premier scholar in his work in the Tree of Life. And here, Dr. Asa Hilliard, co-presenting at another of the many A.S.C.A.C conferences. And here with Mfudishi and Dr. Nterii, myself, at the Neteru conference that was held. And Queen Afua and Queen Shashat, also at the Neteru conference. Just a sea of African energy and steadfast commitment in the restoration and the resurrection of our African greatness. And here at a Sheikh Anta Diop conference, I'm presenting here, and so delighted to be in the midst of premier scholar Malana Karinga, and who's given us this wonderful feast of Kwanzaa and these 7 principles to guide us in daily living. And here I'm with my dear brother, Dr. Richard King, at co-presenting at a conference. Dr. Richard King was premier scholar in melanin, and he and I were together in the lodge as students and initiates under the late Dr. Alfred Lagong in our Black Gnostic studies. It is Dr. Alfred Lagong who guided my earliest toddling footsteps as a metaphysician, as a chemetician, and who introduced me to many things, including the works of premier scholar George James, close to 40 years ago. And here at a Nile Valley conference, Dr. Finch and another premier scholar, and again Wade Nobles and his wife Vera. And here I pictured with after the filming of Hidden Colors 4, The Religion of White Supremacy, here with Professor Small, James Small, and Tariq Nasheed and his premier work in bringing the very powerful message of our greatness through his videography and his Hidden Color series, of which Professor Small and I were featured in Hidden Colors 4. We study far and wide in the Academy, and our foundational texts are the books that I have authored. One is Ka'aba, Building the Lighted Temple with the Metaphysical Keys to the Tree of Life. And this is an African-centered model for character, psychological, spiritual development, consciousness development, which is underpinned by our African and diaspora history. Also, Makaba, the Great Pyramid is the Tree of Life, which is the Kemetic technology for remaking ourselves as beings of light. And Secrets of Race and Consciousness, The Golden Sun Egg Uncracked, and the Kemetic Charismas Celebration and Education, On the Way to Finding Your Soulmate, and the Right Relationship Workbook. We learn in the Academy that as an African people, we've been told that we have no story, and yet it is in the Academy that we are unfolding all and as many aspects of our story as we possibly can, which is to understand that we gave the world humanity, the human family. As an African family, we are millions of years old, and we gave Earth the human family. Civilization, government, law, language, writing, just some of the many things we have given and contributed in every human endeavor. Medicine, herbology, mathematics, agriculture, architecture, psychology, spirituality, engineering, astronomy, philosophy, cosmology, metaphysics, all aspects of science, chemistry, biology, anatomy, physiology, the creation story. We have given a creation story from the beginningless beginning to the endless ending. And we have charted the stars, we have charted time, we have developed a calendar. And every aspect of art, music, dance, we have given humanity. yoga, sports, games, and much, 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 much more. And so also as part of our academy initiation and study, we travel back to our motherland, to Kemetic, to walk in the tombs and the temples, to see the Great Pyramid, to know of our greatness, and to Ghana, to understand the history of what has happened to us in this Ma'afa, in this great tragedy of enslavement. We know our heights in the academy, and we know our depths. We know that we have gone through the door of no return, and we return now in our full pilgrimage in consciousness, reclaiming our greatness at the feet of our great mother, Africa. And we know resurrection, reascension into sacredness. Thank you for enjoying these highlights of a brick and mortar Kemetic wisdom school that has been here 2 decades plus, graduating class after class of the finest initiates. And part of the resonant field of first frequency vibration with a wider Pan-African world community, because it takes a village and it takes a Pan-African community. We look forward in the days ahead to bring you firsthand through the metaphysical virtual Kemetic Wisdom School all of the aspects and components of the temple. And so thank you for your time and your attention, and that we've been able to share this very important wisdom that has been happening behind closed doors. Uncle Justin have life, prosperity, and health.